how to buy a recession-proof business. Again, this is Oliver Wu at the Lifestyle Business Owner. And if you want to learn more about how to buy a business, we're actually holding a one-day live training workshop on March 30th in Bellevue, Washington, on how to buy a business from start to finish. And you can always learn more about how to do that at www.businessbuyinglive.com. Okay, so let's talk about how to buy a recession-proof business. So when you're trying to buy a business, one of the things that you definitely want to think about is, well, how well is this business going to do when the economy crashes? Now, many of us, when we're trying to buy a business, we're optimists, right? We're like, okay, well, of course, I'm going to get into business for myself and the business is going to work out. Why do I have to worry about the economy possibly crashing? Well, the thing is, our economy has always come in cycles. There are times when our economy goes up and times when our economy goes down. And I know that for many of us, the memory of the last Great Recession is still, pretty close to heart. So it is definitely logical to think about, hey, how well is my business going to do when the next recession hits? In fact, we are currently in the second longest period of economic expansion in the entire history of the United States. In fact, what that really means is that if you look at how long it takes, the record goes all the way back to prior to the Civil War. If you actually go to the Federal Reserve website, the St. Louis Federal Reserve website, they have lots of great economic data. They actually show you how long is the time between each recession, and the average is 4.5 years. That's right. The average between recessions is 4.5 years. Sometimes it's 6 years, sometimes 3 years, sometimes 10 years. And right now we're in the second longest period without a recession in the entire history of the United States. So definitely a recession is around the corner. So it's definitely logical to think about, hey, how well is your business likely to do during the next recession? So when it comes to buying a business, we are definitely going to consider how well it's going to do during the next recession. So if you want to learn more about how to pick a business that will do well in a recession, we are holding a live training workshop in Bellevue, Washington on March 30th, and we would love for you to come. You can learn more about that at businessbuyinglive.com. Again, that's businessbuyinglive.com. Okay, so let's think about the different types of businesses. There are businesses that tend to do really well when the economy is booming, and then it does kind of poorly when the economy goes down. And in fact, that is most of the businesses, right? So an example might be the construction industry, right? So when the economy is booming, there are lots of houses and commercial properties being built. So construction companies tend to do really well when the economy is going up. But then, when the economy crashes, construction companies don't do so good, right? So a very cyclical business is the construction industry. Now, the second type of business is a business that tends to do about the same, whether or not the economy is doing well or not, okay? So an example might be the healthcare industry. So if you have some kind of medical business, well, chances are people are going to get sick whether or not the economy is going up or down. So a business that is in the medical industry tends to do pretty even whether or not the economy is going up or down, right? Now, another example of a business that's not really tied to the economy so much might be something in the bookkeeping or tax preparation industry, right? People need to get their taxes done, whether or not the economy is going up or down, right? So, if you are, if you have some kind of accountant's practice, well, chances are, your business will stay fairly even, whether or not the economy is booming or not. Now, the third type of business are what is called counter-cyclical businesses, right? Now, these are the types of businesses that do really well when the economy is down, and they don't do so as good when the economy is up. So what are some examples of counter-cyclical businesses? Well, for an example, might be education. When people are when the economy is down, a lot more people tend to go back to school, right? So any kind of education type businesses, even online education businesses, tend to do quite well during a recession. Another type of a business that tends to do well in a recession might be what is called affordable luxury. So these are things that it's kind of nice, but it's still affordable. So an example might be candies, or maybe going to the movies, right? It's nice. People are depressed, right? But then, hey, I can still afford, $10 or $15 to go to a movie, right? So movie theaters, things like that, tend to do well. So what are called affordable luxuries. Not really, really expensive luxuries, but affordable luxuries. Another type of business that tends to do pretty good during a recession are what is called the vices, right? So things like alcohol, marijuana, or things, what's called vices, right? The tobacco, right? So these types of businesses, tend to pick up when the economy is going down. So when you think about what kind of businesses tend to do well during a recession, think in terms of necessities, things like maybe an auto repair shop, right? So if you think about, a car, well, people are probably not going to be buying new cars during a recession, but, hey, they still need to maintain their car so that because they need their car in order to get to work, right? So think in terms of what are the necessities that people need during a recession. So we're going to be today talking a lot about how to pick a business to buy that will do well during a recession. And if you want to learn more about how to buy a business from start to finish, please go to www.businessbuyinglive.com. That's businessbuyinglive.com. We are actually holding a one-day training workshop on how to buy a business, even if you don't have a lot of money and even if you've never done it before. And this workshop will be held on Saturday, March 30th in Bellevue, Washington. And we would love for you to come. I will be there. Aaron Moeller will be there. Mayumi Moeller will be there as well. And we're going to be showing you the entire day from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. exactly how to buy a business. And we will be doing lots of very exciting training for you. Again, that's businessbuyinglive.com. Just go to the website and you can get all the details. Okay, so let's talk more about how to pick a business that will do well during a recession. One of the things you want to pay attention to is you want to dig a little deeper. Don't just go on the surface going, oh, okay, well, I guess construction companies are not going to do well during a recession, so I'm just going to pass on all types of construction businesses. Sometimes you have to dig a little deeper and think about, okay, exactly what did they do in construction? So for an example, yes, it is true that most construction businesses are probably not going to do so good during a recession. However, what if, let's say you are a business that is a remediation company. So for an example, a construction company that specializes in fire or flood damage, right? So let's say if your house is damaged by fire or damaged by flood, there's a type of construction company that basically all they do, they work with insurance companies. That's, they get paid by the insurance companies, right? They come in, they kind of come in, do emergency service, put everything together, get everything up to speed and, back up online as quickly as possible, right? So that's what they do. They are kind of a remediation recovery type company, right? So yes, it is part of the construction industry, but think about it. Even during a recession, there's going to be fires, there's going to be floods, there's going to be wind damage or whatever, right? So weather damage. So this type of construction company tends to be recession proof, right? So you have to think a little deeper, not just, hey, well, I'm just gonna, ignore all construction companies because I want to buy a business that will do well during a recession. You have to think a little deeper on exactly what type of construction company it is, right? Here's another example. Let's say you're looking at a janitorial service company, right? So you say, okay, is that recession proof or not? Well, you have to dig a little deeper to see what kind of properties they clean. So for an example, let's say you are a janitorial company that cleans houses, right? So people's houses, they're like, hey, I don't want to be, cleaning my own toilets. I don't want, I'm too busy for that, right? So this is a company that comes to your house and does maid service, right? Maid service companies. Well, chances are, if you think about how well a maid service company is going to do in the recession, probably not as good, right? Because during a recession, people are going to be like, you know what, I'm not, I'm just going to, okay, coming back online here on Instagram. Okay, people say, hey, if I'm going to, just going to save some money during a recession and not try to hire a maid, right, during recession. So if it's a janitorial company that does maid service for residential houses, yeah, it's probably not going to do as well during a recession. However, what if you are a janitorial company that cleans commercial properties? Okay, now think about this. What if your clients are banks and office buildings or schools, right? Well, guess what? Even during a recession, the bank lobby still needs to be cleaned, right? The school still needs to be cleaned even during recession. So if you're a commercial janitorial company, well, guess what? You're probably still going to do pretty good during the recession. Okay, now here's another example. Let's say you are a property management company. Now, how recession-proof is a property management company? Well, you have to dig a little deeper, right? What kind of property do you manage? If you manage, let's say, single-family houses, right? So if you manage single-family houses, and that's what you do, and let's say the economy is doing quite well. Now, if the economy is doing really good and the property market is booming, well, guess what? These houses, the homeowners may be like, you know what? My housing value, my rental house has increased so much in value. You know what? I may as well just sell it. Why am I still renting out this rental property? Why don't I just sell the house and make a huge? You may actually lose clients when you're when the economy is doing so good, right? Because your clients may just end up selling the property. Now, what if you're a property management company that manages apartments? Okay, now these are bigger apartment buildings. Well, think about it. During the when the economy is going up, your clients would be the apartment owners, and when the economy is crashing and the building owner done and then it becomes owned by the bank, then you manage the same apartment for the bank, so your clients become the bank, right? So chances are your property management company is probably still going to be pretty good even during a recession. So hopefully this is a little primer, a little preview into what you're going to learn at the Business Buying Training Workshop. We are holding a one-day workshop on March 30th, 2019 in Bellevue, Washington, that will teach you everything you need to know on how to buy a good business from start to finish. It's going to be in Bellevue, Washington, and we would love for you to join us. So to learn more about this workshop, just go to www.businessbuyinglive.com. Again, that's businessbuyinglive.com. We're actually running a special right now for our social media followers where you can get some great bonuses when you come. In fact, you can even bring a guest with you for free, but only if you register during our special promotion. So go to businessbuyinglive.com, and we would love to see you during our upcoming live seminar. All right, so that's it for now. I'll talk to you next time.